Hey there, Kiss fans. I'm Chris, and I want to thank you for checking out this video. I have a disclaimer for you, though. This video is not, I repeat, it is not about some mysterious Kiss song that just popped up that was supposedly to be recorded, a title track for Rock and Roll Over. That's not what this is. I have no access to that kind of stuff anyway. I don't want to mislead you in that regard. So if that's what you came here for, I'm sorry to have let you down in that regard. Please feel free to move on and again, accept my apologies for that. Actually, this is a project of mine that spawned out of a Twitter conversation I had with some other fans recently. I've got the details about this in the description. You can feel free to read that at any time. But Rock and Roll Over, the song in this video, is actually something I conceptualized, wrote, composed, and recorded myself, just for fun. And I thought, well, maybe you'd have some fun listening to it as well. I also have to tell you that I completely overthought this thing. I didn't just come up with a song. I came up with a story for it. I needed a backdrop. I needed a foundation for everything. And, well, I got into gory detail, and I wanted to share that with you as well. First, so that you could verify how crazy I am, and two, maybe you'd have some fun with that. Now, if you want to skip it and just go to the song, I've got the time listed below where you can just fast forward. But if you're interested in the story, let's start off with what we know. First, it's no secret that Ace was not a happy camper while recording Destroyer. In his memoir, Paul really documents Fraley's disdain for Bob Ezrin and his production style. He couldn't stand it. Paul goes on to say that Ace really started to refocus more toward self-medicating than making music and pushing himself in the second half of 1976, including their time making the next record. Yeah, that's the story. But here is the rest of the story. So, yes, it's true that Ace wasn't the biggest fan of Destroyer. Too much artsy-fartsy stuff, not enough rock and roll. But he blamed Ezrin for that, and well, it carried over into Paul and Gene for drinking the Kool-Aid and thinking that they were the next Lennon and McCartney. Now, Paul said Ezrin fleshed out our characters. But when Ace thought about it, it was really all about the star child who was now the king of the nighttime world, and the demon. Yeah, who claimed to now be some god of thunder. Screw all that. Ace was just a guy from New York, and he opted to check out. He wasn't all that interested in being the spaceman anyway, and hey, partying was way more fun. But things changed when the guys let Ace know that Bob wouldn't be back to produce the next record. No more whistle-blowing nannies, Paul said. Meat and potatoes, he said. Back to basics, he said. And they were bringing back Eddie Kramer. And that all was music to Ace's ears, and it lit a fire under him. So, turns out he had been working on a song during the Destroyer sessions that he never shared with the guys or with Ezrin. It was his own take on the whole spaceman thing, and for the first time, it was one he wanted to sing himself. So he backed off the booze and the drugs, took a couple of days to put together a half-decent demo of the song. Ace tried to get a hold of Peter for the drum parts, but he was MIA, probably off working on his own stuff with his buddies or something. Anyway, since he didn't have much time to turn it around, Ace just used a looped recording of a basic beat, kind of similar to Peter's work in Rock and Roll All Night. It wasn't ideal, but hopefully it would be good enough for Eddie and the guys to get the idea. So 3 days later, Ace shows up, albeit a little hungover, at the Star Theater in Nanuet with a tape in hand. Eddie hadn't arrived yet, so he gave it to Corky, the assistant engineer, who played it for Gene and Paul. They listened in the control room. They looked at each other, and they looked at Ace and asked for a minute alone. Now, Ace knew this was not good. Didn't take too long, and Gene was the one who broke the news. And that was honestly a good thing because Paul. Anyway, Ace really didn't listen to the explanation too much because he was already planning his escape. However, he did hear Gene say that the thing they liked most about what they heard was the title, Rock and Roll Over. That, Simmons said, had a filthy little ring to it. Yeah, Ace's song never mentioned again, and, well, he went back to partying, now harder than ever. It got so bad he could barely put solos together, but he didn't really care, and it really didn't matter all that much because Starchild and Demon were now running the show. Rock and Roll Over, the first Kiss studio album to not include an Ace Frehley writing credit, was released on November 11th, 1976, and the rest, as they say, is Kisstory. And now, for your enjoyment, here's the demo for the song Rock and Roll Over.
My